Hi, everybody. This is David Nevins for Citybiz List, and welcome to our program today. And today we continue with another of our discussions, which we're branding Repairing America's Broken Democracy. And that's part of our programming on behalf of the Bridge Alliance. And our guest today is Morgan Rako. Morgan, thank you and welcome to our program.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, Morgan, you are the COO of an organization with an interesting title, and I'll let you explain what it is that you all do. College to Congress. So,
Yes.
Tell us about College to Congress. You're the COO, and what are the goals and objectives of the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, thank you so much for having me. College to Congress really is a nonprofit organization that's bipartisan, and we work towards creating a more diverse and effective and inclusive membership on Capitol Hill, particularly in regards to interns and creating that pipeline of congressional staff. Very often, people are forced to take unpaid or underpaid internships in order to get into jobs on Capitol Hill, which means that really very often the folks who end up writing your laws and writing the policies that affect every American have never had to be on government subsidized programs. They don't have direct knowledge or experience with it. It really sort of cuts out the ability for everyday Americans to get onto Capitol Hill. And we bridge that gap by recruiting Pell Grant eligible college students and recent graduates. We recruit them, we select them, and then we put them into full-time Hill internships and help them try and turn that into a job opportunity. We provide housing, $1,000 for a professional wardrobe. We provide a daily meal stipend, and we also provide professional development.
Very interesting. So your goal is not to, at least not directly, to diversify and broaden the membership of Congress per se, but maybe to influence Congress by virtue of diversifying and broadening the quality and members of their staff. Absolutely.
And the reason for that being, typically a member of Congress is kind of like the figurehead of the work that really their staff is executing and doing. So the staff is the one advising how the member should be voting on a bill. The staff is the one writing policy that the member of Congress is introducing to try and get passed. The staff really are the ones running Capitol Hill. And it's so important that the people who are writing the policies for America are reflective of America.
Well, I have a number of friends and colleagues who are members of Congress, so I'm not sure they would 100% agree with calling them figureheads, but they would agree with the fact that their staffs are incredibly influential. And of course, we've all heard the stories about these, 1,000-page bills that get passed, and the member has maybe an hour to review it. And of course, those are the bills that have been prepared by congressional staffs and so forth. Such an interesting organization with an interesting goal. How did College to Congress get started, and how is it funded, and where do you go from here?
Great questions. We were started by a founder who was, in order to get onto Capitol Hill, had to take out loans to make an unpaid internship work. I came to the organization as someone who had spent 5 years on Capitol Hill, and the only reason I was able to get into that career was by doing an unpaid Hill internship. And in order to afford that, I was working 2 other part-time jobs while also a full-time student. So really bridging that gap and making sure that people who want to be in public service aren't, selected out based on their familial income. So that's kind of the mission and how we got started. Where our money comes from at this point is with the support of some generous foundations and corporations, as well as support of typically small dollar individual donors who just believe in the mission and are willing to put a little bit towards it.
So what does a young person do first who might have an interest in a job on Capitol Hill in a congressman or congresswoman's office? Do they apply for it? Do they contact you first? How does it all work?
Great question. So we typically have folks go ahead and apply to our program directly. And then once they're selected, we work with, right now, I think it's about 125 congressional offices that we help place them in. So we work with partners who are committed to using the funds that are provided to them. Each House office right now has $25,000 that they can only use towards paying their interns. So we work with offices that are committed to using those funds and paying interns. And with that, we have a lot of really great strategic partnerships on the Hill and are able to place our interns in offices where they're going to get a lot of really good hands-on experience and have a better experience than just being a body in a chair and someone to answer phones.
And maybe along those lines, you could describe for a few seconds what does a typical college intern in a congressperson's office do?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that we really emphasize is that having a good attitude and typically having customer experience are the two biggest things, because really that's what you're there to do. Obviously, you're there to learn and be a sponge and be a part of what's going on. But typically, you're the first line of defense for when someone is calling the office. When someone is walking into the office, you're there to greet them. You're there to help them navigate whatever problem they're having. You are able to give tours to constituents and run errands throughout the Capitol, going from office to office, getting signatures on letters, things like that. But what we tell our interns to do and why we are more strategic about who we work with is we really encourage them to raise their hand more often and offer to do projects rather than just sitting and waiting for instruction. So raising your hand and making the most of your internship and offering to go to a hearing and write a memo on something that you're really interested in. Anytime you have the opportunity to be in a internship, you should really take advantage of it and make the most out of it. And don't leave it to someone else to make it for you. You've got to be proactive.
Yeah, I would say good advice indeed, probably for any type of internship, corporate, congressional, or otherwise. So I know, Morgan, you've had some good success with this. I think you even have some fairly prominent alumni. Can you share with us?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have at this point served just about 70 interns over the past 6 years. This year was our first year that we did full year-round programming. So we had a spring, summer, and fall semester. Previously, we've only been a summer program. One of our alum is already an elected official. He is a city commissioner in Albany, Georgia, his hometown. We've got some folks who are now at Harvard Law School. We've got folks who are now working in the Senate. We've got folks working on the House side. We have people working at the White House right now. This program really is life-changing. We've got one young lady who told me that if not for the program, she would probably be a Zumba instructor in Florida right now. And instead, she's a press assistant for Senator Marsha Blackburn. So it's really a life-changing program that opens doors that a lot of these students wouldn't have the opportunity to walk through without our financial and also professional support.
No, that's really wonderful. Not that there's anything wrong with Zumba instruction. We need
absolutely
that too.
Not.
So I understand you have some interesting events and activities coming up in 2023. Please share briefly, if you would.
Yeah. So we're planning on doing a couple more semesters next year. We already have selected our spring class. We're in the process of selecting our summer class right now. We typically do a really big event for National Intern Day at the end of July. Anything and everything that you want to engage with on us, including events and activities, please follow along with us at college2tocongress.org. And all of our social medias are on there as well. That's really where we post all of our application updates on our incoming and current cohorts, updates on when our applications are opening for the next session, and all the events that we're doing.
So Morgan, you mentioned how to contact you if one might be interested in an internship. How about, given the fact that this network, Citybiz List, goes to business and civic leaders throughout the country, if one wanted to just learn more about College to Congress, potentially to get involved or to fund it or to chat with your board members, how would they do that?
The best way to do that would be to email development@college2tocongress.org. Myself and my colleague Daquan monitor that email inbox, and we'll get you to the right folks. Any questions you've got, we're here to answer, and we're always happy to hop on a Zoom, hop on a call, and chat with folks about how we can change Congress and make it more effective.
Morgan, what a fascinating organization, and best of luck. And I guess it's just a matter of time before you actually have an intern who becomes a congressperson, right?
That's the goal. Yeah, I know we've got a few who are just waiting to hit that threshold of age requirement before they start looking at how to file and run. So
that's 25, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Well, good luck to you. And Morgan, it was really a pleasure speaking with you. Again, if you're interested in learning more about College to Congress, please reach out. Morgan's shared with us how to do that. Morgan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
This has been David Nevins for Citybiz List and another of our programs in conjunction with the Bridge Alliance, all about attempting to repair America's broken democracy. This is David Nevins again for Citybiz List. Thank you for joining us today.